Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to start this day all together with our next Elul reflection. And let us begin by singing the words of Psalm 27. Achat shehalti meit Adonai otah avakesh. Achat shehalti meit Adonai otah avakesh. Shivti bebeit Adonai kol yemei chayai lachazot benoam Adonai ulevacher veichalom lachazot benoam Adonai ulevacher veichalom. This morning we hear a reflection by Rabbi Mummert, who talks about the stories of resilience that have happened in her life. And perhaps as she does, we can reflect on the way in which we have been filled with resilience as well.
Elul reflections and sent topics. One jumped out at me: resilience. In some of our TBE Zoom forums, a discussion about surviving and even thriving during COVID had already begun. There was the every cloud has a silver lining point of view. Can be true. I share this one: optimism, irony, and a sense of humor. There was the if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger point of view. That may be true. It's not my fave. My favorite is choice. We can't control everything. This is how I get to resilience. The wrecking ball from outer space is unpredictable. Sudden accidents, injuries, losses, and deaths of jobs, homes, physical and mental abilities, all of those things happen to us and we have no control. We can decide if, when, and how we want to move forward or not. I learned that from my mother after the death of my father, her love of more than almost 60 years. So I looked around at some different sites, which was interesting, but my muse that likes to come and sit on my shoulder and tell me it's time to write didn't like that. To write anything about resilience, I had to tell bits of my own story. As the song goes, it is one of pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and start all over again. Learning from loss, making changes in your life, including relationships, applying that wisdom when similar situations occur again or in the lives of others around you. To me, that is resilience. Here are a few examples. Resilience is keeping going no matter what happens, taking responsibility for your actions and working toward your goals anyway. Like getting married at 21, planning to go to the Peace Corps with your new husband, and then he would go to law school and you would become a teacher. But oops, your first baby is born within the first year. No Peace Corps, no law school. He becomes a programmer. You become a mommy, finish college anyway, have another baby, go back to school a year later, and get a teaching credential. Resilience is learning from your inherited past and protecting your children from its destructive patterns. Like looking at your childhood and realizing that other people didn't have fathers who abused them and yelled at them, just like his father had done to him. With horror, you realize that you are repeating some of his quick temper, frustration, and sudden abuse. You try to tell people that you are having problems, but no one believes you. You find help, and you and your husband move to a new community where your children are raised differently. Not surprisingly, as teenagers and young adults, they find much wrong with their upbringing, but what teen doesn't? Resilience is having your heart broken and carrying on. Like having a husband end a marriage because after having just one woman in his life was never going to be enough, and after 13 years he wants more women in his life. You agree to agree so that your children cannot pull a mommy daddy move in which they play one against the other to get what they want. A divorce and an amicable relationship results. Resilience is having all your plans for your mature years destroyed and learning to use this freedom to change your life in ways you never imagined. Like just 3 weeks after your father died, ending a marriage by outing your spouse. Freed, he moves immediately into a new lifestyle that he had been planning and cultivating for several years without your knowledge. Though the last 2 years of your 20-year-plus relationship had been very difficult. The home you just bought together will not be used as you imagined. Your financial future just radically changed, as did your dreams and plans for eventual retirement and travel. However, the end of this marriage frees you to take care of your newly widowed mother in the last years of her life as she suffers with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. You move to a new town where you know no one but your mother and her caregiver, leaving your job behind and finding a new one, overseeing your mother's care until she dies, then arranging her funeral and fulfilling your duties as executrix of your parents' estate while working full-time. Resilience is deciding that you can change your life at any age and doing just that, starting in your late 50s. Like claiming your ancestral religion, Judaism, in which you were not raised, and entering a congregation where you know no one except your mother, who will soon be unable to attend any longer. Will anyone say hello? Where are we in this book? You can't find the page number. You don't understand a word of the service. What are they saying? What does it mean? Jews bow? I thought that was a Christian thing. Talking to the rabbi and deciding to stay, asking lots of questions, attending lots of questions, joining a B'nai Mitzvah class because it is the only local adult class to learn about what happens in the services and why. Deciding to go ahead and becoming bat mitzvah with the class, choosing a Jewish name as you don't have one, becoming active in your congregation. Resilience is, in old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, from Psalm 92. Like becoming more and more curious, asking more and more questions, desiring to learn more. People suggest that you go back to college for a master's degree, more than 40 years after you graduated from college. You are not sure that you can handle the work, so you sign up for a year in 2 different programs. One asks you to leave halfway through the first year. Fine, you think. God has made your road quite clear. You apply to and are accepted into the other program. Now, into your 70s, 5 years later, you are ordained. Your ordination speech begins. You can change your life at any age. I did, and so can you. Resilience is moving towards your fears. Like advocating that all rabbis and cantoral students should be required to take a year of chaplaincy, as those skills are often needed in pastoral work. However, you have never seen a chaplain in action and have only a very vague idea about what they might really say and do. With trepidation, you take your first class and discover that, much to your surprise, you are drawn to chaplaincy. Age is an advantage, yay! A year after you become a rabbi, you complete a year-long intensive program and become a chaplain in a Catholic hospital. Resilience is surviving and thriving despite the unpredictability of COVID-19. Like consciously and deliberately choosing to change many aspects of your life, in addition to those changed by job loss, by being part of the most endangered species, the over 65 set, AKA, most mature, wise elders experienced that improvising Survivors of other major game changers, changes in health, physical flexibility, grief, losses, financial, job losses, wars, and more. We are resilient. We have lots of tools in our toolboxes. We have and continue to acquire wisdom, new methodologies, computer skills. And we can answer questions from our grands and greats, such as, what's a record player? Is a party line some old-timey dance? You didn't watch TV when you were a kid? You didn't have a TV? All of us in all of our ages are resilient because we must learn new skills to maintain our sanity, our health, and the health of our families, equilibrium, and equanimity. Hope, love, friendships, community, and a sense of humor go a long way. May we, as Leonard Nimoy said, live long and prosper.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Catherine, for sharing your story. And indeed, one of the most important parts of doing this Elul reflection was being able to really get to know one another in a meaningful way. You have such fight, such chutzpah, such beautiful qualities of resilience within you. And I think that it is quite an inspiration, everything that you've done. Today, as we are going toward the middle of the month of Elul, we can reflect on that which gives us strength in our own life when things get difficult. We turn to Psalm 27 once again as we share in reading these words as we do each morning and reflecting on them. Perhaps today we'll see something a little bit different than we saw yesterday. Of David, Adonai is my light and my victory, from whom shall I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life, from whom shall I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this would I trust. One thing I have sought of Adonai, how I long for it, that I might live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I might look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. That you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day, hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high on a rock. Now my head rises above my enemies round about, and in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of the truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice, I am crying out. Be gracious to me, answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road, because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life, wait for Adonai, fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. Today, we look at the fourth verse of our psalm once more, the ones that we start with every single morning of singing the words of Achat Sha'alti. Except today we focus on different words within. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai. One thing I have sought from Adonai, how I long for it. So I'd like to offer you words from Deborah Robbins' book in reflection of this verse. First, it sounds like I'm nagging. If I've asked you once, I've asked you 100 times. Next, I start to sound focused. I'm not asking for a lot, not 100 things, just one thing. And it's the most important thing to me. Then I remember the Talmud's spiritual practice. Offer 100 blessings a day, all day, Ask God for one thing 100 different ways. Please receive my prayer. I am alive in your house and I am so very grateful. 100 blessings a day requires an early start. Eyes open, thank you. Breath flowing, thank you. Stand upright, thank you. Sun rose, thank you. Ground firm beneath my feet, thank you. In every challenging situation, thank you for courage. After every difficult conversation, thank you for patience. With every disappointment, thank you for hope. For every physical discomfort, thank you for strength. At every accomplishment, small and large, thank you. The opportunities for gratitude abound. With each bite of food, thank you for the soil. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the farmer. Thank you for the man who transported the food and the woman who sold it. It takes a lot to get from 1 to 100. A beautiful pink cloud at sunset, thank you. The silence of night, thank you. The stars spread across the sky, thank you. The love of a spouse, a partner, a parent, a child, love for myself, thank you. The renewing power of sleep, thank you. All day, every day, 100 times a day, I ask one thing. Please receive my prayer. I am alive in your house, and I am so very grateful. On this Shabbat day, let us find opportunities in which to offer our prayers. Perhaps they won't add up to 100, but if over the course of the day we can take time to be truly grateful for everything around us, then perhaps this day will become more sacred as a result. The idea, God was in this place and I did not know, well, we need to open our eyes and see in order to feel the beauty and the mystery and the sanctity that is perhaps right under our nose. And I think one of the things that gives sanctity is our community. So I just want to give a shout out to many of the people who have been joining us here this morning. Donald and Diane and Sarah and the Cantor, Marla and Sunny and Riva and George, Leanne and Kevin, Karen and Jody, Pam, and so many others. It truly is a blessing to share this morning, to begin this day with each and every one of you. And on the subject of blessings, Rabbi Catherine Mummert also wrote a blessing for COVID that I share with you now.
Here's the serenity prayer for our time, resilience in COVID-19 as the high holy days draw nigh. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Changes in my body as I get older, as well as in my thoughts, opinions, emotions, feelings, and memory. And the deaths of friends, family, colleagues, role models, and people I admire. The courage to change the things I can, to protect my health and physical welfare and that of my communities, and to protect my memory with gratitude. Teshuvah for things I did or did not do or say before it is too late. Learning from those retrospectives to apologize, to mend fences when I can, and realizing that procrastination can rob me of reconciliation. And the wisdom to know the difference. Letting go of what I cannot change, such as my age and past experiences. The loss of dear family members and friends, may their memories be a blessing. Making the changes that are in my control, difficult and awkward though they may be. In my relationships with family and friends, in my relationship with God, and in my relationship with myself. Accepting that the only one who really can change me is me. With the help of God and others, yet and still, the work is mine to do. May I continue to grow as a loving, caring, and learning person. May I share joy with others. May our lives abound with love. May our world resolve itself into peace, justice, and respect from all. Kenya Ratzon. Amen.
Ken Yehi Ratzon, indeed. Thank you so much for those beautiful words, Rabbi Catherine. And of course, finally, we hear the sound of the shofar blast from the one and only George Mayer. May that sound of the shofar blast stir us, give us meaning, and inspire us as we begin this beautiful day. And finally, every morning, because the world is in need of healing, perhaps we are in need of healing as well, we offer the words of Mishaberach for healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. Yishaberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Yishaberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us strength, show us the way. Mishaberach Avotenu, Mishaberach Imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I hope everyone has truly a Shabbat Shalom. At 5 o'clock today, everyone is invited to come back right here as Pam Tarlow is going to be leading us in meditation. And at 7 p.m., after what we hope will be a long, wonderful day, we are going to come together to bid Shabbat adieu with our Havdalah ceremony. I look forward to seeing you then.